Hello, this is Matthew Nanas from Chapters Creative, and now it's another edition of a brand review. And what I do to review a brand, I do it strictly from their website because I believe the website is the most natural extension of a brand's visuals and also their messaging. So today we're talking about D'Addario. So if you're a guitar player, they're one of the biggest guitar string brands out there. They've been around for a long time, but there's a little bit more than meets the eye if you're not aware of it. But before we get to it, if you are interested in clarifying your brand's messaging, I run a narrative workshop where I clarify your brand's messaging. So we do that in 3 hours. And so I ask you a bunch of questions and I take you through the hero's journey narrative, and we pretty much clear up what you've got going on with your business and how you communicate with your audience. So there are links at the bottom how you can work with me. That's just one of them. But also you can go to www.chapterscreative.com to find out more. Anyway, let's get to it. So above the fold, we have D'Addario. It says hashtag WYKYK. Of course, when you know, you know. Here's the thing about this. So clearly they're trying to talk about like the intuition aspect of being a musician. So almost like when you play a guitar and it just like speaks to you like, okay, I know this is it. I know this is the one. So they're equating themselves like, if you use our products, you're going to know that this is it. And so they try to tell us that with like this rotating carousel of like people who use D'Addario. So Yvette Young, Joe Glazer, Clark Jr., and Taylor Guitars. That's going way too fast, by the way, guys. I do. But like, I'm only aware of like 2 of these people, but that's fine. Like, I know some people probably know who like, Joe Glazer is, but they're trying to say like manufacturers trust D'Addario, these players trust D'Addario. And compared to like other guitar string companies, like an Ernie Ball, like these aren't sexy names. They're not like cool names. And that's something I always thought was interesting about D'Addario, where they've never really harnessed that in a mass scale. Like, hey, here's our artists. Like they're, cream of the crop, Like for instance, like Ernie Ball has like Fallout Boy, they have like the cool artists, but I think what D'Addario is going after here is like, this is all about performance. This isn't like flashy, And here's the copy they have for the paragraph. From arena stages to storied luthier shops, D'Addario makes strings and accessories for players to know the difference of how they know the difference they can make to their sound. So it's all about playing. It's all about sound. It's not about being cool. And I think, they could have made like a more technological argument, like, hey, like our strings are more technologically advanced. That's why you can trust it. But no, that's not what they're doing here. So, and also another thing, I forgot to mention this. So several years ago, I helped D'Addario make some video content for their NYXL and also their drum brands. And I'll get to that later because I'm focusing more on the strings right now, but we'll get to why, some criticism of D'Addario soon, but it was very much a tech play when we made that content several years ago. So this is a pivot, even from 6 months ago. I remember seeing the site like not too long ago, and it wasn't even that much of a tech argument from them then, but this feels a lot more to the point. Also, the one thing here I think is really cool, one thing I think they're starting to do more of, so you see these colored O's. If you're not familiar with guitar, like what D'Addario does differently is they color code the ball ends of their strings, the part of the string that hangs into the bridge of the instrument. It's almost as if like they're doing their own like Olympic rings here, their own take on it. Only thing is what I would do here, like I feel like it's difficult to see like in this, they kind of get buried a little bit depending on the picture because these pictures are going like way too fast. I probably would have moved it over to like right here above the WYKYK. And just like let that be a bold statement, like we're D'Addario, this is how you know it's us. Also, one thing here, they have an e-com aspect to the website here, so they have all of these drop downs here. So like guitar, percussion, orchestral, woodwinds, accessories. So you can like look into all the things that they have here and buy it. So this website is trying to straddle the difference between the e-com aspect and the brand. And I'll get into the orchestral and woodwind part because like that's one thing I really didn't know about until I started working with D'Addario, that they offered this. And also I think I knew they had purchased a couple drum brands, so that wasn't too much of a surprise. But the orchestral and woodwind stuff, that was interesting, and we'll get to that a little bit more. So let's keep going. Oh, and also there's you have here, you can click into this for the carousel. So the carousel doesn't happen automatically. I mean, it does here, but man, this is way too fast. But anyway, so you have the new backline just went solo. So that's like the new feature product that they have here. I like that I can choose my own adventure here with the carousel. Player circle sweepstakes. They're pushing that hard. I get multiple emails like a month about the players circle. But if you love D'Addario, I mean, by all means, go join it. And then they do quizzes now. So one thing that when I made content for them, it was to supplement like a quiz, like an external quiz thing. So I feel like they took some inspiration of that and made some of their own quizzes to teach you about the products. And also, you know, every quiz you take gets you 50 points and much closer to taking home your favorite D'Addario gear. So they're trying to educate you about the products so you can get more products. So this is smart. I can't help but feel they took inspiration from their project with, you know, my company that back then, because it was very educational in nature and it's kind of what we did. So you kind of ripped us off, but you know what? Like I think that's super smart, and they took it in-house, and good for them. I really don't care that they did that. I just think it's really smart and interesting. Anyway, so here's another part of the website here. It says, we make the instrument. Whether you're a seasoned virtuoso or you're just picking it up, we make tools that bring out the best in your instrument with boundless curiosity and a pioneering spirit. We believe there's a better sound, a better product to inspire you to push your instrument and yourself into exciting, unexpected, and extraordinary places. So again, it's about like the feeling you get when you pick up an instrument and play and the magic that happens. So they're putting themselves as the guide to help you do that, which I think is really, really smart. And also this picture here, especially in the last few years, like, you know, women and guitar, that's such a new, I mean, it's not new. Women have been playing guitar forever. Anyway, I'm not saying it's a new thing, but like with like Olivia Rodrigo being such a massive star now, she's playing guitar a lot. And St. Vincent has her own guitar with Ernie Ball. So Fender, you know, they're manufacturing a whole bunch of like colorways for women and short scale basses and things like that. So like putting a woman here, rocking out, having fun, you know, that's on par for what's happening here and making it more inclusive. And I think that's great. So far their messaging, I think, is really so much better than even like 6 months ago. It's not very often like I'm giving like props to bigger companies, but like they're doing it. Good job, D'Addario. So far. So top categories here. So here's like kind of like, other than like the tabs up here, the top, they're bringing up, you know, the different things you can buy. Of course, the electric guitar strings, acoustic guitar strings, but they have Evans and ProMark. So not a lot of people know that D'Addario also owns Evans and ProMark, but like, oh, okay. Like we can buy drum heads and sticks here too. So if you're not like familiar with that, if you're kind of like a beginner guitar player or you don't really pay attention to drums, like this might come as a surprise. So anyway, that's cool that they have that covered as well, and they bring those brands over to that, like to the umbrella, so to speak. But here's the thing about the alto and violin strings. I had no idea. I always figured D'Addario was a guitar specific company. And so putting the D'Addario name on the violin strings and the reeds, I'm ignorant. I don't know that world. I don't know if violin players know D'Addario or the alto players, but I would be interested to see like a different like brand name for these particular offerings, you know, the more like band orchestra type of offerings here. So I don't know. I would be really interested in doing that. I mean, get me on that. I would love to try my hand in that. But like I said, I think more people see D'Addario as a guitar company. So introducing these other products when you go to the website might be a little confusing. So moving on. So Player Circle, I love this video they got in the background here. It looks really, really cool. Red is their color. It says Player Circle, this isn't some punch card. This is Player Circle, your passport to a world of rewards, opportunities, and free gear that's always play as you go. So they want loyalty. They want to build that brand loyalty and offering ways to benefit people who do that. I think that's really, really smart. I don't think Ernie Ball does that. But I think with their new messaging of like being more aspirational, given enough time, more long term, I think that, I mean, they've been doing this for a long time as far as the Player Circle goes, but like I would be interested to see how that grows. I think, I'm not going to pull up their Instagram content, but I think the more they make branded plays and creating content that inspires people, and they're consistent with it, and has a consistent look and feel, because I know on their social media, like there isn't like a consistent look and feel, like say like an Ernie Ball does or a JHS Pedals. So if they honed that sort of thing in and made entertaining content that inspired people, and I'm not saying jokey entertainment, but just like either you're educating people or you're like empathizing with people or you're like entertaining in a way that like piques like an emotion, I think they can continue to build the brand even bigger. Because like I said, like Ernie Ball has like the cool bands, they have all the punk bands, emo bands, metal bands, or whatever. And they like flaunt them. They create that content to feature their artists. But like I would love to see D'Addario do that. It's like take like the few like quote unquote cool people you do have on your roster and just like build that and just continue to breed that loyalty to people, to their prospective players. So anyway, Player Circle, always good, but I want to pound the pavement hard with content because I know that's something that they could do better with. All right, find your gear. So we got String Finder, Reed Finder, and Drumhead Finder. This is cool if you're just starting out or you're venturing out into new ways of playing. So you can click into this and take a quiz probably, and they'll give you a suggestion. I think that's super smart to do too. It kind of saves you from going into a Guitar Center because that can be a circle of hell depending on when you go or which one you go to. So having it on the website is very smart in my opinion. All right, now here's like the e-com aspect. I think they're towing the line really well as far as like, okay, this is a brand website and e-com. Again, these tabs up here kind of give it away like, hey, you can explore this and you can buy. But then you have like this section here like, hey, this is some new stuff we've got going on here. So they give you a few new things here to check out and you can buy it. Great. Awesome. One thing, let's take a look at the top again. Let's go back here. I just want to make sure like we talk about the CTA a little bit, at least the main one. So it's a learn more. If you know, it takes you to a landing page about the brand. I know I wasn't going to go to another page, but like I was interested to see if they had like a shop now button, but like they have their own tabs up here. And I think there's a shop now on this one as well. Apologies if you heard that. Very raw. We're doing it live, people. Okay, so click in the shop now. I'm curious to see. So it's only the backpack, so it doesn't take you to like a main landing page for the shop, but that's okay. I think they're towing the line very, very well here as far as the e-com aspect and brand. Then I think we have a little bit more to go on this page, but this is kind of like the wrap up of like their argument. So it says the best deserve the best. Our diverse roster of artists goes beyond borders, genres, and styles, from pioneering guitarists and drummers to world-class woodwinds and orchestral virtuosos. The top musicians across the globe trust the products we make to bring out their absolute best every time. So again, like there's only one person I recognize from this super fast carousel they got going here, and that's like the drummer of Wilco. Gary Clark. I think that's Gary Clark too. But I would just love to calm it down a little bit more, give it like 2 more seconds between each like photo. But again, they're banging the drum, no pun intended, to like, hey, the people that like care about like performance, like this is the product. It isn't like the cool product, but if you're gonna be playing in a professional way, this is the brand to do it. So they're making that argument. I want that argument to be screamed from the rooftops as far as their content is concerned. They need to corner that and make great content. I'm going to bang that drum even more. Anyway, bestsellers, again, buy more stuff. And then in initiatives, I think this is really cool. I've always known about the playback string recycling. I've taken part of that before. It's awesome. So Play Plant Preserve, Promark's landmark reforestation program. One thing I learned while working with Promark / D'Addario is that, you know, they use a lot of hickory for their not their strings. Wow. For their sticks. So they do a lot of reforestation in Tennessee, that's fantastic. So you can feel good about playing those sticks. I think that's connecting to a cause is always awesome. And then you got the D'Addario Foundation. I don't know too much about that, but like having these three initiatives, I think it's really powerful to see a company do that, and it would make me feel better. You know, if I was a drummer playing hickory sticks and like, okay, well, at least they're growing more trees. And then the playback string recycling, I think that's a great way to start building, you know, a loyalty of players, and also feel like they're doing something good. All right, well, that's the end. So D'Addario, like I said, I think they're doing a really good job how they pivoted, but I think they could make it even stronger with like a YouTube content series that really dove into like the craft of like playing or writing songs or building guitars, making it more about that. I know Ernie Ball has their string theory, and it's kind of, they interview like people, how they got started and what's important to them. But like, I think content that goes deeper, way deeper into the craft of songwriting or building guitars or whatever, I think that would be a good thing. So anyway, any other things here? Again, like I love what they started to do with the circles here, the ball end circles. They need to put that on a shirt. They need to just like hammer that home. Again, I think about the Olympic rings. So if they do this enough, like it can be something like I could see it on a hat or whatever else. So that would be like my two biggest things I think D'Addario needs to do. Like I said, I think they've made big improvements to their website and also their branding. Again, like I said, I've done projects with them before several years ago, but like I feel like this is in a much better spot than where they were back then. So anyway, that's D'Addario. Again, if you are interested in working with me, building your brand or rebuilding your brand or creating a website, making sure your brand messaging's on tap and also your brand visuals, go to chapterscreative.com. Or you can find me at Chapters Creative on Instagram, or you can also find me on LinkedIn and shoot me a DM. Anyway, if you have any questions, also, there's a comment section below. Again, thank you so much. This has been a brand website review for D'Addario, and we'll see you next time.